Hey, I'm Mitchell Davis, a Laravel developer.
And I'm Gavin Ty, sales and marketing,
Excellent.
something.
You got
Yeah, excellent.
you got through it. You got
Yeah,
through
great.
it. We are building SixSides.co. It's an events platform that helps you build a stronger community through events, and this is our B2B SaaS journey. Mate, we got through the intro. It's a miracle. How you
Yeah.
going?
Good. Week 10 of the 10th episode. It's been great. Like I mentioned this on our episode 9, just going back and having a look at what we've been discussing, and yeah, we are making progress, which is great. And yeah, this is a good reminder of what we're actually what we're doing, and I think it's exciting. I think it's great. I think it's fun. I really look forward to having this conversation on Fridays.
Yeah. It's nice. I've been thinking about, would Monday be better? Would we have more energy, like more enthusiasm towards the coming week if we recorded this on Mondays versus Fridays? No, you like Fridays?
No, because I'm thinking about the week ahead. I'm not thinking about what we've done, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So
All
we're
right.
kind of reviewing the week we've done, right?
Yeah,
And
it's a week in review, not a week to come. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
project. Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, cool. Well, I'm really enjoying it too. And yeah, it's kind of hard to believe it's been 10 weeks. Like it feels like it's gone really quickly. So it's nice that we've got this. We track everything in Trello. Like our topics for the podcast, we track them in Trello, and it's really cool to be able to look back and see, oh, where were we a month ago? Because you don't really like, unless you're doing something like this. I'm not keeping a diary in general of like
No.
how my days are going or things like that. You don't really have an opportunity to look back in time unless you're doing something like this and see where you're at, a month ago or 2 months ago, whatever. So it's pretty cool.
It's the same, and we're doing lots of different things with lots of different areas. Um, it's easy to lose track
Yeah.
on what we're doing, mate. I just had a look. We've got 4 5-star reviews on Apple iTunes.
Hey, thank you
Yeah,
very much.
yeah. It's there's some interesting. I'll read a couple here. As a tech startup founder myself, listening to Gavin and Mitch feels like a deep breath of fresh air. Their journey is incredibly relatable, full of real highs and honest lows. I think you're more the lows, mate. I'm more the highs. Um,
Okay.
and gritty determination it takes to build something meaningful. Um, we love most. What I love most is how they are grounded, two down to earth Aussie guys, generally trying to make a positive dent in the world. No fluff, no hype, mate. This is brilliant. I'm going to frame
That's
this and put it in
awesome.
here. Yeah, there's quite a few. Yeah, there's a few on there. Yep,
Well,
it's great.
if you'd like to get read out on the show, please jump onto the Apple Podcasts and leave us a review there. That's fantastic. I hadn't seen those. I had seen we had some ratings, like some stars that people had given us, but I didn't actually see the reviews. So that's fantastic. So
Mate,
thank you
that's
very
me. I
much.
pay attention to detail. You're more of a high level thinker. Hmm?
Sure.
That is completely not true.
Yeah, that's not how I would categorize it, but yep,
No,
sure.
no, no. I would. My Mel, some may have heard in a couple of episodes before when she was giving me shit, she would not categorize that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We should read out these other reviews because they've taken their time to
All right.
write these. So we have from that first one was from Rory. So thank you, Rory.
Rory.
And then
Yeah,
we have from Urka91. Always look forward to the next episode. Such a good podcast. So thank you, Urka91. And then from P Moldridge. Love the vibe. I love listening to Mitch and Gav sharing their journey, even though they've only started. They have great banter and a laugh. I'm really looking forward to following their journey and learning as well. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you very much, P. Moldridge.
yeah.
So,
That
yeah,
brings a tear to my eye. Like that happens.
yeah,
I got it. That's good. That's great. I'm glad
that's
people are listening, and thanks for the feedback. And we really appreciate it if you are listening. That one or two out there is to um,
well, it's
leave a
three.
review.
Clearly, it's three. So
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Well,
yeah.
on that note, though, we'd love if you would leave a review and rating, all of that. That's awesome. We'll continue to read those out as we see them. But also, if you have questions, we want this to be interactive. We're still waiting on a single question to come through via email. I set up that email just for this. Hopefully, someone will send us an email. It's
What
currently
is that journey? What is that email address, Mitch?
yeah, smooth. It's journey@sixsides.co. So send us
How
an
do you spell
email.
it, Mitch? Like
Yeah, I'll get you a dictionary. We'll put it in the show notes, and your camera's moving around, you goose.
oh, it's lost me.
Yeah, there we
All
go.
right.
We'll put it in the show notes. If you have any questions for us, or anything you want us to discuss, we'd love to hear from you. All right.
All right.
Anyway, with all that being said, why don't we get into it for today? So, Gavin, talk to me about lead gen. Last week we ended rather with some planning for lead gen. How's that planning gone, and where are we at?
Yeah, so we've got a couple of things that we needed to tick off for lead gen, right? So one of those things is our website was just basic website is under construction. So now we have to assume that if we reach out to people, they're going to maybe go search on us for a search first and have a look and come back. So where you're working on that is bringing over the website, like updating the website, which we'll talk about in a minute. So
Yep.
what I've done since then is I've set up a couple of different test campaigns around into different markets into Australia, into different groups of like CEOs or event planners, just really basically just putting the feelers out, excuse me, just trying to share some new technology that we're putting out into the world and just trying to engage in conversation. I'm doing a combination of cold outreach, which is not, in my opinion, in my experience, unless it's a really exciting platform or really exciting product, people aren't necessarily paying attention to it.
Yep.
I think we're going to fall into this here because it's a very competitive space.
Yep.
The time that I had, the best success I've ever had in it is when I worked for a company doing organizing drone sky shows, right? They needed to get out to councils and things like that. And people were just so interested in it because it was an interesting topic. There's a chance that we have a foot in either side because we're out trying to do some things about growing community, building community through some unique functionality. Everyone we speak to finds that interesting. Whether that transcends into cold email, I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. Yep.
But I'm also we're doing a combination of that and then switching over to LinkedIn, a combination of both. So using Apollo for that at the moment. And then I might run
What's Apollo for those that don't know?
Yeah, Apollo's it does a lot of things, but essentially at the end of the day, what it does, it helps you investigate or search for your ideal client profile or client persona, and then structure a series of email messages or messages across multiple channels like cold email and LinkedIn to get them to engage one way or another to let them know that you're around. It's not a marketing website. It's a sole purpose of it is to get people to engage with you for having a sales conversation.
Right? Yeah. Okay. It's kind of like I spoke with Michael, organiser of Laracon AU, earlier this week, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But when we brought up Apollo, he was like, "Yeah, it feels like it's like dark arts, it's like voodoo, a bit shady type of a thing of like finding your ideal customers and things like that, and trying to get their information so you can contact them and all this sort of stuff." It's prior to meeting you, I had no idea that these things existed. A few years ago, and you showed me as I was doing outreach for some of my other businesses, and it's amazing, like the amount of information that's out there and available if you pay for it. And this is how a lot, as I've come to understand it, this is how a lot of sales work happens, is through tools like these, right?
Well, if you go back, even 2015, when I started in doing this kind of sales, like for tech sales, none of this stuff was around. So there used to be things where you would go and look at a domain, like as an example, we would sell to water and power utilities. So I would go to their domain, their website, get the last part of their domain, and then I can't remember the website, but it was like, guess my email, and you put that domain in, and it would run M. Davis, Mitchell Davis, Mitch Davis, and it would go, I'm a high certainty it follows this structure. So once you got that structure, you go, well, that's going to be like that for everyone. but sometimes it changes. And so you would have to go through all these um, steps to try and find the way the emails were structured. Then you had to find the people. So we would read through publications like annual reports and go, oh, that guy looks like he's, and it was really hard. But because it was really hard, people didn't do it. So you would have a lot better success in getting people to answer. Like my reply rates were upwards of 50 or 60% back then because it was so difficult to find the right people. It was a real art in itself to get to those people. And just an entry level lead generation person, SDR, probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But now it's so easy to get those details. These people are getting spammed more. As you can see it in your inbox, you're just getting spam because it's so easy to find.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I've set that up. We're waiting for you to just update the marketing website. We will have a plan to start that out next Monday.
Yeah. So
Sorry,
3
Tuesday.
days from now, right? So
Tuesday will start. My hours of lead gen will be Tuesday to Thursday. Just because Mondays and Fridays, people are just coming in from the weekend. They might have an inbox full of stuff. They might be planning their week. And then Fridays, they're tired,
yeah,
right?
gotcha.
You work on the Tuesday to Thursday in between.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's set up. We'll talk about this in a minute. We're going to have a bit of something fun in a second about looking at the banners that we worked on. The other part is people are going to look at us on LinkedIn. So how do we actually articulate what we do in our day jobs or our other work opposed to what we're doing with SixSides? And then we're going to do that with our banners and stuff like that. So I've put a design to you. You've called me a boomer that I don't have a
No, I
design on.
didn't.
Yeah, come on. Come on, let's be honest. You called me a boot. Oh, that was for something else. But
That was for something else.
it's
You
still
asked me for feedback. Thank you very much. And you said, oh, I can't believe you throw me under the bus here. Made me look like an asshole.
we can edit that out because you have the editing right.
That's true.
So anyway, we're going to have a comparison of our two banners, yours and mine, and then we'll see which one resonates. Right? We'll have
Sure.
that chat. Yep.
We'll
But
do some live A/B testing. Maybe we can. Here's what we'll do. Let's put links to both of them in the show notes, so that way people can see them if they're just listening to the podcast. You'll be able to view. Why don't we do this now? You'll be able to view this on YouTube if you're watching this. But the YouTube videos are like a month behind the podcast. So if you're waiting on it, let's just put them in the show notes. That way people can go have a look.
why don't I make a LinkedIn post of A and B, and then we'll put a poll out on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We'll put it up for a week, and then just see what people like. Yeah, we'll do that.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Put that up on Tuesday when this goes out.
Okay, I'll do that on Tuesday.
Cool.
Now, also, the other thing was I had a meeting with a big events organizer company here in Australia last week, just to get their feedback. And it turns out we live really close to each other. She's a lovely person, and our family's going camping with her family at Easter next year. So we're going away.
Small world.
Yes. She sold me on this place, and so I got off and we booked. And she goes,
Yeah.
I'm there with 30 friends, and we come along, we play games and have a few drinks. You guys are welcome to come. I was like, okay, well, let's do that. So we're going away. Yeah.
That's awesome. That'll be really, forget the business side of things. That sounds like a lot of fun. Going with
It's
30
with
other.
family farm. Yeah. So
that'll be sweet.
to a farm stay. So yeah, we're looking really good. We're really looking forward to it. She's also given me a list of a heap of people she recommends I reach out to because they would probably find a lot of value in what we're doing. So they're on my list to reach out to as well.
Amazing. That's awesome. All right. So why don't you open up Canva and let's do this. Let's see what you think of what I tweaked. And it was only subtle. I told you in Slack. It was only like a few subtle changes, but hopefully you'll notice the difference.
Well, I don't know if I can tell the difference. All right.
Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Okay.
All All right.
So what do you think?
Okay. So which one's who? No.
Zoom out. It's like
Oh yeah.
we're zoomed in. Yeah, here we go. That's better.
Okay. So so tell me your. So mine's on the top.
Hmm.
I like that. I changed the wording, like the fonts after we had original talk. I like the subtleness of the green on green. Um,
Mm.
I did try to put our pink in there, and it was way too offensive, and I got to get rid of it.
I think we got to rethink the pink. It's not the right color.
Rethink the pink.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Put that in a. That's a tagline. That could be used in a few. I don't know. I don't know what else that could be used for.
You
Yes.
started OnlyFans. That could be a good tagline.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's on the cards. So you like these three or these two different shades of green on top of this green background?
Yeah, I do. I like it. I think it's subtle. Looking
Mm.
at it now, I think it could be spread out a little bit because it's touching here.
Yep.
Um, I do like the potential contrast, but then we got contrast here. So I
Mm.
definitely think that needs to be capitals.
Oh, I couldn't disagree more.
Oh,
That's
really?
funny. Yeah, I did it on purpose. Everything that you see, I put thought into, and it's fine. That's just my style.
Okay.
I'm more than happy to be wrong. But yeah, I disagree. I like normal sentence casing, almost everywhere.
It's interesting considering when you do Word docs, you take the margins out. Yeah, right. You're a
What's that
complex.
got to do with anything? Yeah, I've
You're
got my own my own internal style guide that I follow, and it is I like take all the margins out, not all the margins, but like very little margins, and
okay.
then almost everything is sentence case.
Fair
It
enough.
just is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's not the place to fight, mate. We're on a podcast.
Well, we should have some conflict. We shouldn't
Yeah.
agree with everything that each other
Um,
does. Maybe what we do, maybe you put up your banner on your. So we can still do this poll thing. That's totally fine. But maybe you use your banner if you really like it, and I'll use
yeah.
my banner since I
Sure.
like my one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That could
Okay.
work.
Yeah. Well, let's put it up. We'll put it up on LinkedIn. I'll make a
Mm.
post and just see what people think about it. So yeah, that'll be interesting, and I will gladly enjoy rubbing your face in it at the end.
Okay. Sure. Let's
No.
see. Let's see.
Yeah.
No, totally, because you might be right. I'm not going into this thinking, oh, I'm gonna smash Gavin. Maybe I'm off, who
You
knows?
talk a big
So
game, just like you said, get on YouTube live and then end up like egg on my face. So I get it. Yeah.
that's all
Yeah.
right. It's
All
content
right.
though anyway. It'll get some eyeballs on the LinkedIn posts and on our
Yeah.
pages. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's good.
It'll bring attention. It has a double benefit. So, yep.
For
Okay.
sure. Was there
Awesome.
anything else about representing ourselves on LinkedIn that you wanted to go through while we're on it?
Yeah. Look, I think there's a there's a challenge that we have, I think, where how do we represent ourselves in LinkedIn that's authentic across all three brands, right? Like, I think
Yeah.
having that carousel can say, hey, we do this, I do sales market fit, then soon, like, and then also SixSides, soon to be Sales Buddy, which is another thing altogether. But
Mm.
how do we, and then you have Atlas, then
Yep.
you have other things as well.
Yeah.
How do we represent that in a way that's authentic to that doesn't contradict? I think that's a challenge, and I haven't got an answer for it. I think it has to do something around personal brand, not
Yeah.
business brand, right?
Yeah.
Um, but definitely letting people know that you do. So when they log on and they go, hang on, this guy does sales strategy. Why is he contacting me for SixSides? I'm more sensitive to it for myself because of sales
Yeah.
and SixSides, where it's kind of almost the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't really know how you would get around it, like short of
Mm,
making a fake profile or something like that. But then
yeah,
if you do that, you're not contacting them as you anymore.
yeah,
It just won't work. So
yeah,
no, I don't think so. It's the reality of being involved in a few different businesses is that,
yeah,
well, yeah, you're going to have to do you're going to have to represent those businesses, and it just is what it is. I don't really know. Like my profile right now is split across three businesses: Atlas, Recruit Kit, and SixSides, and that might be a bit confusing for people. But I mean, that's entrepreneurs, right? Like that's just
Yeah. Yeah.
what happens. You've got a few brands that you're representing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about like what's the commonality a little bit between and where my interests are going at the moment, and I'm all for and embracing human assisted AI, right?
Mm.
So not replacing or anything like that, but making people um, more productive, better versions of themselves, or helping in a way opposed to doing it by themselves. So um, that's where my interest is going, and even beyond business stuff now. Like I'm thinking about creating a GPT, a custom GPT, just on ChatGPT that
Yeah.
will help me or help my daughter get better at handwriting. So every
Mm.
week I'll take a photo of her writing. This is what my thoughts are. I've done some research and it can be done. I just have to get around to doing it. But taking a photo of her handwriting, and instead of giving me 10 different things to get her to work on, just work on one or two. And so we get that 1% better every week or every month. And then over time, her handwriting will get better. She's 5 years old. So
I think that's pretty cool. Hey, that's a cool use of the technology.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
And
How did you come up with that idea?
well, I'm just thinking about human assisted ways that GPT can help, not replace,
Yeah.
right? Not replace. So, um, and I'm just looking at some of the challenges at home around what we could help with. Like there's a few other things around how it can help us just order our budget a little quicker. We're planning a ski trip to Japan next year. Maybe I can create a GPT to help us assess all the different ski resorts in Japan and then give us the best um, a recommendation, like just things like that. So I'm thinking maybe my personal brand will be around that, and then the three businesses that I'm involved in, sorry, two businesses that I'm
Yep.
involved in, maybe fall under that. Um,
Mm.
someone did say um, you are kind of building SixSides with sales market fit. Like that's interesting in itself, right?
Okay.
So
Yep.
yeah, and when Sales Buddy comes out, which is something coming out in the future,
Yeah.
yeah,
We'll talk more on that.
yeah, that's for another time. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't seen how do people present themselves. I haven't really researched it. So
Yeah.
how they deal with it. Yeah,
Okay. Well,
research
something that we
it.
can continue to come back to, especially once we get these profiles updated, and
Yeah,
yeah, maybe just see what other info we can get about it. Cool.
cool.
Well, why don't
So
I take over for a little, talk through
yeah,
about the marketing site. So we kind of touched on that at the start of this episode, but we're using Relume, which we did talk about last week. Last week, if you didn't listen, firstly, shame on you.
shame on
Go
you.
back and
Shame,
listen.
yeah, absolutely.
We're in sync. Yeah, go back and listen. But if you didn't, then we're using this tool called Relume, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But basically, like it's another like AI GPT type thing. Hey, make me a website, and this is what it should roughly have on it, and da da da. And we're using that because it's really powerful for Gavin to be able to go in there and write in just normal plain English. Hey, can you make a marketing website? It should have these areas on it. You can give it the context about our business and what we're actually doing and the different six sides of the event community that we're trying to go after and all these things. And then it can create these like wireframes effectively.
So just for that, we've identified, just going back up a little
Yeah.
bit on that, we've identified that it's easier, like sales and marketing is difficult to come into a developer world. It's easier for you to come into the sales world. And we don't want that to be one-sided. So the
Yeah.
purpose of that is to try to take some of the workload off you because there's so much to do and there's only you.
Yeah.
So that's the intention behind that, is to try to take some of that work off your plate. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is really helping. So, so Gavin is able to go in and make changes to these, like effectively these mock-ups. The text gets generated because again, it's all AI powered, but then he can go in and say, okay, no, instead of that message, let's go put this instead. And then what I've been able to do in this continuing arc of using Cursor over the last few weeks, if you've been following that, just this morning before we got on and recorded, I spent about 20 minutes and I used Cursor. I took some screenshots of the wireframes that you had set up in Relume, and I pasted those into a new AI chat in Cursor. And then I just started talking to it. Hey, take this existing marketing site that we've got. It's written in Vue.js. It's hosted on a Laravel backend. Relume can generate, can export out to React components, but we're not using React, at least not at the moment. So just doing it this way through Cursor works really well. I had to make only a handful of small tweaks to get it to match up with the design that you basically put forward. And then again, I'm also like applying my own styles over the top of it. But with 20 minutes, I was able to basically implement the design that you came up with. And we're just able to move really quickly with that. So it was very powerful. We've hit our limit with Relume for like number of screens or number of things you can generate or whatever. So we've actually just upgraded so that we can generate some more pages. We've got a lot more ideas. And so the plan is I asked you to hold off on doing the outreach until I got the website up. So that way, if anybody is interested, they click on the website. It's not just a coming soon or a page that's not quite ready. So yeah, I'm going to continue to spend some more time today and then probably over the weekend. If you're not sending it out until Tuesday, then that's great. Maybe that gives me a little bit more time. But yeah, basically this is going to be my process for now to get the marketing side up. And it's working really well. And I can tell you, like, I feel quite confident with doing user interfaces inside of products. I think I have a fairly good understanding of like, okay, what should go in a dashboard and how might I want to use this and that and whatever. But marketing sites is something I've always struggled with. I've just never felt all that confident in like, well, what does someone want to see when you're trying to convince them to sign up? You know, it's like, it's hard for me at least. And yeah, being able to use Relume to generate this sort of stuff, and then Cursor. There's other like component libraries like Tailwind Plus that we're using as well, and that's got a bunch of marketing components and stuff. But yeah, you can kind of just amalgamate all of these things together, and we've come up with a marketing site that I think looks fairly good. So I'm really excited to keep working on this because it's very powerful. Get you going very quickly.
So can I ask you a couple of questions on that? How you said you've been working on it for 20 minutes, like without doing that process and just going from scratch, like how long would that have taken?
Well, I would never really be doing it's a good question, but it's tricky to answer because I probably wouldn't have been doing it from scratch. I would have been taking something like Tailwind Plus, their library of pre-built components and marketing screens and stuff.
Sorry, your current process, not from scratch. How long would it take from the current way that you would be doing things?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Probably like at least an hour, maybe more, to get that over. Because it really is like copy and paste, to be honest with you, from those component libraries. It's copy and paste and then using your own brain and your own skills to be able to like, okay, let's change that, make this border this color, whatever, that sort of a thing. It's a huge speed up for sure.
But what about the wording? Like trying to come up with a wording for all that? That's a different beast.
Well, that's where like having you to be able to help with that. And sure, you've used AI to come up with some of this marketing, right?
No, I haven't.
Well, there's no shame in it. That's fine. We've been talking about it the whole way through. But you are applying that same type of filter over the top of AI to make sure that, okay, this messaging should
Yeah.
resonate, hopefully, right? So if I was doing it all myself and you weren't in the picture at all, that would suck and would take me way longer, right? So, because I then would have had to do what you're doing at the moment with, okay, ChatGPT and then you making some changes over the top. It's hard and it's not fun. That work of coming up with content is not fun to me.
Mate, what I was really getting at was, yes, the compliment you gave me. So thank you for that. But that's good. Like, I think, in all seriousness, it's a balancing act. Is we have so much to do, we can't get it to 110%. We just have to get it to something that's pretty good. That'll get us by, and then we'll come back later and tidy it up with either some help through copywriters or like specific marketers or something. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, look, I think you showed me today. It looks really good, and then we just
Yeah.
gotta hopefully we'll get that live by early next week. And again, another thing taken off your plate that we can go back to doing. You go back to doing what you really like to do, which is the app, and which we've got to build dashboards now too, right? So, yep.
Well, that's right. So, so I guess this is a good segue into let's talk a little bit more about the app, because I spoke with, as I mentioned earlier, I spoke with Michael, organizer of Laracon AU, and I showed him.
Shout out to Michael because we know he's listening. Like,
Yes, he's listening. So thank you,
give us a
Michael.
review, mate. Give us a review.
Well, where's your review, Michael? What's going on? Anyway, so I spoke with him. We were just kind of talking about some planning and things for Laracon later this year. But I also really wanted to get in front of him, like, hey, you've been following our journey. You're aware, hopefully, that we are looking to consolidate and just have the one SixSides app. Is that going to present a problem for you? Because he is currently the only event that we've run and the only event that's had their own app. And he was like, no, I get it. It's all good. No problem. And then I was like, would you like me to show you how that will work? And he said, yep, great. So we got on and I brought up the app and I showed him how quickly and easy it is to get into the Laracon section of the app. And it's just entering, a ticket code, same as what they did last year. And then boom, now the app looks like Laracon's app.
What did you think about the new structure?
He really liked it. So it was awesome going through it all with him, all the different features and things that we're planning. He said some things won't apply. He doesn't think won't apply to his event, like meeting bookings. He said, yeah, we won't really need that. And I was like, no problem. It's entirely opt-in. Like if you want to facilitate that at your event, that's cool, but you don't have to. I talked with him a bit about like the messaging, so those like conversations and threads and stuff between people, and he sounded excited about that. So it was good. It was really good review and feedback from him about the new direction that the app's going. So that gave me a lot of confidence that, okay, if he's cool with it and he's the only one who's had his own custom app, then, hopefully others will also be cool with that as well. So, yeah, so that was really good. And it was fun. It's still probably the most fun coding project part of this project that we're doing is working on the app, because it's so quick and so in your face of like, I make this change and now this screen looks different or whatever, it's very like real time and it's fun. But we've got to get the ducks in a row, with the marketing website, make sure things are happening there. And then I think maybe we touched on it last week, but I think our roadmap is kind of like, we're going to do the marketing website in the next few days, then back to the app and get all of the existing functionality brought over from the Laracon app into this new SixSides app. Ideally get that up and released on the app stores, at least as a version 1, because we know that the review timelines and all this sort of stuff, it all just takes time with the App Store and Play Store. And then at that point, work on the web dashboard aspect of the system. Because for now, if we happen to have some event that came up before the web dashboard was ready, I can go in and basically do all of that back-end work myself in the database and just make sure that the event is set up. That's what we did for Laracon last year, and that's just real. Like, you don't always have everything that you need done, so you got to do some manual work.
The only challenge with that is just we're saying how you use the data post event. That becomes the difficult part, right? Like the usability post. So, but yeah,
for sure, it won't be. I definitely by the time November comes around, we will have all of this done, without a doubt, right? But if something happened to come through, in a month or two from now, and maybe that's not ready yet, then there might have to be some manual work, and we'll have to figure out some workarounds. But things are moving.
About expectation, then setting the scene, and not over promising and under delivering. I think that's okay. Plus, you work better to deadlines, which you've identified before. I'm also listening to a book at the moment called Hacking Growth, and it's about how, like, being different, and thinking about things from a not a sales perspective, but an engineering and marketing and sales perspective about unlocking potential. And I think it's really what we're already talking about it's not unsimilar to what's in the book. Yes, they're talking about way larger businesses, but I think we're already on that path, the thinking about growth. So probably leads into a segue where we finally booked our time to come and catch up with each other. Unfortunately, we are just flat out up until June, so it can't be towards the end of June, we're still productive.
Yeah.
But I think when we catch up in June, I think maybe we set some time. It's hard to do this on a call, but maybe we set some time up on a whiteboard if you've got one, and we'll plot out the journey we think someone will take inside the app, and how we can make it easy for them to replicate and use it in their own terms post-event. And it's exciting. It's great to see that you're iterating as well, how quick you are, right? I was at dinner the other night, and I was having dinner, and you sent me the chat stuff, and I was like, oh, and I was with my mate, and I was like, look at that. I was like, how good is that? And he's like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, you're just doing stuff. And I think we're both doing that for each other. So
yeah, for sure. It's that, like, it does feel like when we put time into it, things move really quickly. So it's about finding that time and juggling the time together. But I am really looking forward to June. It'll be late June, I think it is. And what's the plan? You're going to fly down here to Sydney. You're relatively close to Brisbane. So are you flying from Brisbane or from?
I haven't figured that out, but it'd probably be the Gold Coast, because it's easier for me to get there and I'll go through Brisbane. But I'll come down on Thursday night and I'll stay till Sunday morning or something. So we'll have Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
I've got to see family while I'm down there, and do some.
Yeah, that's right. So you're not just coming down here just to see me. We'll spend time working here in the office on Friday, and maybe we'll record. We will record a podcast on that Friday. But you're also catching up with some mates of yours and family and things like that. Yeah. So it'll be good. I'm really excited for it. It's a shame that it's so far away. It's like almost 2 months, but it is what it is. It just is what it is. That's life, right? So
the main thing I think we've got to be aware of is the excitement of catching up. I think because we haven't seen each other, we'd be more likely to. We've got to make it productive. I think, like, sit down and have an agenda and be really. I think we've got to be strict on the agenda, right? To be honest, because we can go out and we're going to go out and have dinner with some people like Hiralee, who's been on the podcast and all that stuff, and we can have fun. I think because I tend to just waft. It's not you, and have fun.
I know. Yeah.
So to be, I think we've got to be disciplined to knock a fair bit of stuff out. Yeah. That we may not get it all done, but it may be enough for us to continue on those conversations like on here. Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got plenty of time to prepare, and I might book out one of the meeting rooms in this office space that I'm in, and then we can just have that for the whole day.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good. Cool. All right. Well, we'll touch more on that later.
Yep. So
So
that does bring up something, Mitch. We talked midweek, which I forgot about, is we are remote from each other. And one of the things I think that is valuable when you're in a room with someone, like day on day out, is the osmosis and just having that small talk and just going ideas back together, backwards and forwards. So yeah, we're trying to think about ways on how do we actually get better at that and sharing ideas, because because I think, how do we turn this into a strength, our current setup too? Like, yeah, I've
well,
been put
you when we first got started with this now, like months ago, you were sending me a lot of these like voice, just you talking into your phone.
yeah,
And I think I must have said to you like, "Hey, this doesn't work too well for me because then I have to like stop what I'm doing and focus on, and some of these were quite long. Like it might be like a 5 minute you just talking, stream of conscious. And it's good stuff, but it's just the delivery mechanism wasn't great for me because it means I got to stop what I'm doing. I can't multitask and listen to what you're saying while also writing an email or whatever. I'm just not good at that. So anyway, flash forward to this week when you were driving or something like that, and you sent a voice memo on Slack. That made all the difference because Slack automatically transcribes it, and this thing was like a 3 minute voice message that you left me. I didn't even listen to it, but I read it and I got the gist of what you were saying, and it was awesome. So that worked really well. I guess where that might fall down is if the transcription isn't very accurate, but I can then just listen to the actual voice recording, right? And so you haven't sent any more since then, but I wrote back to you like, yeah, this is great. If you want to keep doing that, because you mentioned about being able to have like small talk and stuff, and you don't always want to call me when you've got, an idea because you'll be calling me 10 times a day, right? Or I might be with you.
I've got no problem calling you, but I just don't think that it's good for you when you get in your headspace of doing what you got to do. So that's
That's
where
right.
I'm.
It'll be
So,
distracting. Yeah. So for sure, I think it's like an interesting experiment to try it and see, if we report back in 2 weeks and I'm like, yeah, this is a pain in the ass every time you send me a message, maybe we need some other way to work around it. But I really don't think that will be the case because it's just like reading a text, which takes me so much quicker, than listening to a voice message.
I wonder one if there's a one is, I heard what you're saying about long voice text. Like, don't make them longer than 5 minutes. Ideally, let sub 3 so you can read it pretty quick, right?
Mm.
The other thing is, I wonder if there's a platform out there that, because we talk about certain things all the time. Imagine we talked about the attendee or the sponsors or whatever we're talking about, and giving a point of view. Imagine you could have like a mind map and you were recording and it would go, hey, that's an attendee, and it sticks there. And then you go,
We
oh,
talked
these are
about
all the
this.
conversations we have around that. So it's ordered. Otherwise, maybe that's an idea for a business, but whatever. Can't do everything.
No.
Um, yeah, but yeah, something like, yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just thinking about sub 3 minutes or something. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, it's almost like that, like Fireflies, right? So Fireflies is this tool that you have signed up for, and I've found it to be quite interesting. It basically joins all of your meetings that you have, like your Google Meet or Zoom or whatever, joins those as another participant. Just it's just like a blank avatar. It's not like it's trying to show anything visual on your screen or whatever. It's just someone else that joins with no camera. And it records all your meetings for you, transcribes them, and then gives you like a summary of like the action items and all this stuff.
yeah,
And it's kind of in that same vein, right? It's like,
yeah.
okay, it's collecting information about stuff that you talk about, and then it can reference. Yeah, might be something there, but it sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
another project. And we got enough going on, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
that's right. Well, I did. I actually reviewed a wireframe of a design of something last night, and the person said, "Hey, can you either fill out a Google Doc and review it, or we can catch up a meeting?" So what I did is I recorded a Loom, had it transcribe it, and then it took the screenshots and put the like summaries of what I spoke about along the doc. I was like, "Oh, that was way easier."
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah. Yeah.
Very good.
All right. Anyway, but I think that's going to be a challenge for as going through working remotely. Plenty of people do it. Is how do we do it and not lose some of that key stuff, right? So, anyway,
More to think about there.
yeah,
But I am excited to see. Not excited. I'm interested to see if this voice message transcription stuff, if that's the right move for us moving forward. Yeah, we'll see. Did you have any other thoughts about juggling our time? You've got that in here. Did you have anything else on that?
yeah. Look, I do. I think there is like juggling our time is always going to be a challenge at the moment. It's really fun working on SixSides, but then it's also not paying the bills. It's not going to be paying the bills for a long time.
Yeah.
It's being I'm in my mind, like, say, because sales is my thing, right? And it's sales strategy and approaching the market, lead gen, all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to learn lessons across, like in what I'm doing in my other businesses, and applying to here and vice versa with using with what I'm learning with SixSides, and then I'm trying to take the lessons from both sides of the business and move it across, so I can get 1 hour work in one business can equal an hour and a half altogether, like where I'm not actually starting from scratch. So I'm constantly juggling my thoughts, my time across all business, but I'm also trying to repurpose some stuff I've done in one to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm although I'm working 60, like at the moment I'm getting up at 4 in the morning and I'm working through to 4, 5 at night.
Wow.
But I'm also trying to turn that into 80 hours with reusing stuff, right? So, yeah.
I didn't know you were doing that much, mate. That's a lot. How
Yeah,
long have you been doing that for?
about 3 years. So,
Wow.
so I get up at 4. You don't start till 9. I'm 5 hours before you, right?
Yeah.
It's not quite. It's not quite like that. The kids start taking time away. They wake up about 6, and they're occupied. Somewhat take up my time from about 6 to 8:30. So that's why I've got to get up beforehand so I can have a good start on that. So
Gotcha. No, I'm normally here by 8:30. But yeah, then sometimes I won't leave here till 6:30.
yeah,
Some
right. Yeah,
days.
I don't work. By the time I get to that, I'm done by 4 or 5 because
Yeah.
I want time with the kids. So I
Yeah.
have to, somewhere along the line, I have to make up that time, and I'm way more productive in the morning. I'm way sharper in the morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, so I like the periods of the day where like the phone isn't ringing, no one's trying to get on a meeting, and like that is either very early or kind of late in the day when people kind of check out. You know, nobody wants a 4:30 meeting or whatever. So that I can find those are like some good times. But yeah, I mean, we don't have kids at the moment, so it's just a whole different schedule. The kids are likely dictating a huge part of why you have to work in these like this specific format, right? So
Well, it actually come from when we were Harper, which is our youngest. We got pregnant with Saxon, or not me. Look like I'm pregnant. When Mel was pregnant, um,
yeah,
um, I paid for this expensive course and I hadn't done anything, and I thought, oh, like it's going to come up before the baby's born. I'm going to have to get up at 4 in the morning, otherwise Mel's going to kill me. So that's why I hate getting up in the morning, especially now we're heading into winter. But I had no choice. So,
yep,
and then that habit formed. And then it's now, I used to do 5 or 6 days a week. Now I do at least 3. Today I got up at 5. So I'd mix it up, but it's at least 3, and if not 4, and then the others are 5 in the morning. So,
yeah, okay. It's interesting, but yeah. Anyway, to kind of circle back to the point, if there's other ways that, like, if people listening, if you have any ideas on how maybe we can maximize our time with what we're doing,
Yeah.
might be hard for people to be in our specific context, but yeah, it is a bit of a struggle
Yeah.
to juggle the time. And that's where, like, a big part of me working towards deadlines, it really helps clear things up. Okay, I can get this done by that date, and that'll be fine. Like that is handy, because I am
Do you,
each
do you
day I'm like being,
compartmentalize? Do you compartmentalize and have structure from one client to the next? You can't really.
yeah.
I would imagine you can't flip between one to the other very easily.
No. So, like, in general, for our larger clients where we're working sometimes weeks, for clients, then almost as a rule, I don't want us to be switching context between clients on, like, even a daily basis. So I like to block out, okay, let's work with this client for all 5 days of this week.
Okay.
We're just going to do that. And then if something comes up that's an emergency for another client, sure, I'll then get on and work on that, while maybe Chris, who works with me at Atlas, will continue work on that initial client, to try and reduce that context switching time.
Okay.
So this is like context switching on steroids, having 3 different businesses, that I'm involved in. It's hard. But yeah, that's why, like, I don't have any tips or anything like that. It's a struggle, but I find when I can really, like, sink my teeth into something, I like to just make that entire day about this one thing. So, like, I'm going to spend the rest of today on SixSides. I'll
Yep.
edit the podcast, and I'll keep working on the marketing website and all of that.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
Yep.
that I like to do it at the day level where I can.
Sure.
It's not always
Sure.
possible.
Yeah, because I've got 7 clients that I work across too. So I try to, in the big ticket stuff, I try to do it in the morning, and I'll knock out a big piece of work, and I'll try to at least get up to, like, for the kid, probably 7 o'clock, or I'll do another spot between 12, and then when I'm not doing client meetings, and then I'm like, okay, that's a big chunk. That gives me the permission. That gives me permission to go to the gym, maybe just do a bit of fluffing around on LinkedIn, and just
Yeah.
do some other stuff. Like, but I'll try to knock out that big stuff in the morning, because I just can't do it in the arvo. Though at the moment I'm forced to do some stuff at night, which is, again, it does, because I don't want to do it at night. It makes me sit down and just get it out within half an hour, where because I just don't want to be doing it. So, which I
Yeah.
did last night, reviewing some stuff. So I
Yeah.
try not to muck around. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no driver. Like, fuck this. I really don't want to be doing this. You're
Yeah.
probably going to do it a lot quicker.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. So,
Yeah.
um,
Oh, cool.
yeah. Okay. Well, how long have we been going, mate? Almost an hour. So,
Almost an hour. We can probably wrap up. I've just got an update with the .com. So we're back on the grind. So we have engaged with a domain broker via
mhm.
GoDaddy. So this was what you had originally wanted to do, but it costs us, I think, 160-ish bucks to engage with the broker. But then the real kicker is GoDaddy then charges 20% commission on top of whatever you end up securing the domain at. So that's where that's going to get very expensive, and why I didn't
You
want to do
better
this in the
win,
first
Mitch.
place.
You better win. Yep.
Well, it's not up to me, right? Like, it we'll see what happens. So this got started yesterday. I've got the details for who the broker is, and
Yep.
um, uh,
So
to
I'm
their
going to.
credit,
Sorry. Sorry.
to their credit, GoDaddy has this cool, like, overview page of where everything's at. They break it up into, like, these 6 or 7 steps here, so I can see when the broker has reached out to the current owner, and, like, it's got a bit of a log there. So it's cool. It kind of shows me that things are happening in the
Yep.
background. But look, we'll see. I'm really I'm almost, like, praying that we will get this through, because I think it's going to be a huge bummer if we don't. And this is kind of, this business evolves, a couple years down the line, and we still haven't got this .com. That's going to bum me out a bit. I would just much rather have that, which you might think is a bit silly, but
Could
I,
you
in my,
read it on my face?
yes, I could. Yes, it was very clear for those that could see it on video. But anyway, that's the domain that I want, is the
Sure.
.com. And if we don't get it now, I think it's only going to get harder to make this happen in the future,
Sure.
right? As we become more viable as a business. Well, now maybe the price tag goes up. So look,
Well, I
we'll
was
see.
just thinking about that. I know we put the budget in there and then they said plus their 20% commission. That other website would have had a commission. I think you should go back to him and say, hey, our budget is that, which includes your commission, right? Go back and
Okay.
say that, because otherwise we're going to pay an extra 20% on top of that, which is probably
Yeah.
35% with the exchange rate. So go back to him and just clarify that no, that budget includes your commission.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
otherwise he's going to take the liberty of 48, whatever it is, plus
Yeah.
20%. He may come back with it like just marginally over next time. I would just go back and set that expectation.
Sure. Yep. Okay. I'll do that after we wrap up here.
Um,
Go on.
So, Mitch, got a question here. So we sent if anyone has any questions, to send them to Journey at SixSides, right? .co.
Yep.
What do you think about, at least, I know you're not a big fan of Twitter, but you can do this on Bluesky, and I monitor Twitter, but we have a SixSides account on Twitter and
Do we?
Bluesky.
I didn't even know.
No. I'll set up a SixSides account. Let's be clear. And
Gotcha.
then if people want to follow us on Twitter, and if they have any questions, they can ask us, like post it on our accounts, Bluesky or Twitter or wherever.
Yeah.
I think you still got your MySpace account back from 30 years ago. They can do it there, and then maybe we can answer questions, not in real time because this isn't recorded in real time, but it's an easier way opposed to sending an email. What do you think?
Yeah, totally. We can do that. Easy. So yeah, all right.
Yeah.
We'll get that set up. You continue to add items to our task list at the end of each of these recordings. So.
Yeah. I'm doing SixSides, so you won't have to.
On Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. No worries. Okay.
Cool.
Did you want to talk about this other one? Or
No,
save that for
next week. Yeah,
save it for next week. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Too easy. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up here then. So, again, reminder: ratings, reviews. We will read them out, at least for the time being. So, love to hear what you think of the show. Send us an email. All the details will be in the show notes.
Yeah.
We'll have links to everything we talked about. Gavin, where can people find you online?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Gavin Ty, and if you are listening on LinkedIn, I will put it up on Monday to give it a full week. But come along, search a post, and then please give us a poll rating on what you think is the nicer one, and then we'll go from there.
Curious to see what they think. And you can find me, Mitch Dav, on Bluesky and LinkedIn and Twitter, actually, but I don't use it. So anyway, thank you very much for listening, and we will catch you next week.